Greetings and salutations, everyone. My name is Somarinoa. Welcome to Somarinoa Plays part 1 of our playthrough of What Remains of Edith Finch. We have to kind of start this as soon as the game starts up, it turns out, because this. It just automatically starts up. I hear this is like a very, very good game.
A lot of this isn't going to make sense to you, and I'm sorry about that. I'm just going to start at the beginning, with the house.
We have houses like this where I'm from, which is...
Someone had put up a chain link fence, but it looked like I wasn't the first person to hop it.
We have houses like that in Alaska, where I'm from.
My brother Milton disappeared when I was 4. It was like the house just swallowed him up.
A little crown. That's sad. October 23rd, 2003. So he was 11? Oh yeah, it says it right there. Sorry. Mixed Indian white, blue, black. So shift isn't run, it's just zoom in. As is right click.
I lived here until I was 11, but I wasn't allowed inside half the rooms.
Orcas Island Gazette.
Inside the mailbox were bills from 7 years ago, marked urgent, open immediately.
The bank didn't take it back?
I hadn't been back since my brother Lewis's funeral.
How many of your family is dead? Probably been by video surveillance.
In her will, my mother left me a key, but didn't tell me what it unlocked. Maybe she thought I'd know, or she thought that the mystery would be enough to bring me back.
We have 2 paths here. I'm going to take the one less taken. Bridges. Oh. Can't go that way, I guess.
The truth is, even after I inherited the house, I never thought I'd come back to it. But now I had questions about my family that only the house knew the answers to. The woods around the house have always been uncomfortably silent.
There's frogs
As
everywhere.
if they're about to say something, but never do.
What are you talking about? The frogs are croaking all over the place. Another one.
The house was exactly like I remembered it, the way I'd been dreaming about it.
What would have happened if we took this route? Did you see something different? I want to go back and see. Oh!
No one had driven this way in a long time, but I saw a few hoof prints.
Take both paths in the house. Oh, interesting. Okay, there was an achievement for that. So I guess that means I technically took both all the way, right? Because it just starts right there. Kind of a brisk walk, but still feels a little slow. Yeah, we have what is referred to as like the Dr. Seuss house. If you prefer Dr. Swice, I know there's different pronunciations of the name. Dragonhead. But can't get over that way, can I? Nope. Okay. We have multiple houses like that. One of them was in Caswell. It burnt down a few years ago in a big forest fire. It's really unfortunate. It was cool. I got to watch. It wasn't as big, but it had a few houses built on top of each other. But why people do that, I do not know. But it is really cool looking.
As a child, the house made me uncomfortable in a way I couldn't put into words.
What is the word you're looking for? Uncomfortable? Because I think you just put it into words. Well, one.
I asked Edie once about the dragon in the pond. She said it had killed her husband. I was 6. It seemed like an odd joke to me even then.
Weird.
Now, as a 17-year-old, I knew exactly what those words were. I was afraid of the house.
What'd the house do? Ooh, I love wind chimes.
Crawling through the doggy door used to be a lot easier when I was 11.
Thank God the freezer food's gone. That would have been gross 7 years later. Look at that ratty old chair. That looks might be comfy. Maybe. Oh, yeah, I remember that.
For the first time in years,
I grew up with only a couple garages in my life, but yeah, the ball and string is pretty popular. Or popular? I don't know. Edie, Don, Lewis, Milton, Edith.
I felt like I was home.
This kind of looks like a place I've been.
But instead of a family, there were just memories of one.
Loving memory. Lewis Finch. December 27th, 1988. November 21st, 2010. Beloved brother to Edith. Son of Dawn. Great-grandson to Edie. Memorial service. Finch Family Cemetery, 2141 Fireweed Road. I used to live off Fireweed Road. In my home state. A Viking's Belly, Witch's Kitchen, A Holiday Feast, The Nordic Cookbook, tasting Thailand. Weird recipes. Flour, salt, wire, yeast. The Northwest Chef. I have the same books in a couple places.
Like how only one restaurant would deliver to our house, so we had Chinese a lot.
What?
Or how after Louis started working at the cannery, we all got sick of eating salmon. Except our cat, Molly.
Is Molly dead? I hope not. But oh my god.
The table was still a wreck from the night we left. It was like a bomb had gone off, killing everyone but sparing the furniture.
Poetic.
My mom was the only one of us who could imagine Great-Grandma Edie living in a nursing home. Nothing in the house looked abnormal. There was just too much of it, like a smile with too many teeth.
Ugh.
Even the fireplace had a story. Edie told me the bricks came from the original house, after it sank.
So they went and fished it out of the hole, was it? Whoa. That's kinda cool. Are these all cookbooks? Into bugs, or were you like entomologists?
Great-Grandpa Sven built a music box for Barbara, along with the rest of the house.
Okay. I'm blown through the stove pipe, sounds like.
My mom wasn't much of an optimist, but she never stopped believing that my brother Milton was alive. A lot of things got left behind in the whirlwind of that last night.
Yeah, you're telling me. Jesus. And this door is sealed with caulking.
Mom always told me to stay out of the basement, so I wasn't too surprised when the key didn't fit. After Milton disappeared, Mom sealed up all the bedrooms. Then Edie retaliated and drilled peepholes.
Weird. So does that mean
Molly always seemed like a girl I could imagine being friends with, if she hadn't died in 1947. I spent a lot of time playing in Great Uncle Walter's room. Lewis told me there were secret passages, but I never believed him. Turns out, my mom was really good at keeping secrets. Now it was time to find out what my mom had been afraid of.
Yeah, we're gonna go this way though. Spend needy.
The last time I was in Edith Sr.'s room, I was 10 and she was painting my portrait.
Calvin. Yeah, I'm gonna be taking screenshots of all these names.
My Grandpa Sam spent 7 years sharing a room with his dead brother, Calvin.
What? Like his body was in there? Or your dad's not dead and he is? I don't know.
As a kid, I just assumed every house had peepholes and sealed rooms you weren't allowed inside of. Whenever people ask me about my family, the first thing they always want to know about is Barbara. Barbara was a child star for 2 years, until America grew out of it.
That's it? Just 2 years? That's not that long. Like, at all.
Mom must have locked the 3rd floor stairs on the night we left.
Okay, well, I guess it's time to go through.
From the paintings on the wall, it was clear my brother Milton had been here before me. Reading this, maybe it sounds like I had a plan. But I had no idea what was behind that door. Just like I had no idea where all this was gonna lead. I grew up looking at Molly's room through the peephole. Being inside for the first time, I felt like I'd stepped behind a painting. Molly's gerbil had a tiny bedroom with its own even tinier gerbil cage.
Where does that door lead?
December 13th, 1947. Dear Diary, I'll be gone soon, but I wanted to tell somebody about what's gonna happen. It started when Mom sent me to bed without dinner. I woke up and I was starving, so I looked around for something to eat.
Let's eat our hamster.
The gerbil food was dry, but I didn't mind it.
Oh, with the poop in it? Oh, gosh. this door. Oh, let's look at this.
My Halloween candy was all gone. Mom, can I come out now?
Sweetheart, it's late. Go to sleep.
They locked their kid in the bedroom. Okay, eat my fish.
I thought about eating Christopher, but I held back.
Hi, Christopher. Is she a monster? That explains a lot. She's some sort of horrible monster.
I kept eating and eating.
Ugh. It's terrible for you.
I ate a lot of things that night.
Those are fake. Probably. I mean, 1947, so maybe they're not plastic, but they look plastic. Can we eat the toilet paper? No.
Then I heard chirping outside my window. It was a barn swallow going back to her nest.
Don't eat this bird.
I reached out for her. And suddenly, I was a cat.
What? Oh, okay.
I tried to be quiet, but the bird was really scared. Mom and Dad didn't even look at me. I jumped and I almost got her.
What is wrong with you?
I could tell she was getting really tired. Now I was up in the big tree. I promised Dad I wouldn't climb it anymore. All I cared about was eating that mama bird. I gobbled her up. And suddenly, I was an owl. First, all I heard was the wind. Then I heard little teeth nibbling in the grass. Rabbits. I imagined his face looking up and seeing mine through my talons. I swallowed him up, and I didn't chew one bit. Then I flew off to find something bigger. A mama rabbit.
Great owl. Catch two rabbits.
She was
and
almost too
two
big to carry. I started choking, but I couldn't stop eating. And suddenly, I was a shark.
What? It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen.
I rolled off a cliff and into the ocean. Now, I was hungrier than ever. I wanted fat, juicy seals. I tore off her flipper, and it tasted really good. Grabbed on tight. But I was so hungry, I jumped out of the water. When I opened my eyes, everything had changed.
Oh, my snake. Oh, I'm like an octopus or something.
Now I was a monster, and I smelled people everywhere.
Wait, what if we go back this way? Wait, is this where I just started? Yes.
I was big, but I moved real quiet.
Belly with a rusty razor, belly with a rusty razor, belly with a rusty razor. What shall we do with a drunken sailor? What shall we do with a drunken sailor? What shall we do with a drunken sailor? And the captain's daughter, the captain's daughter.
Passenger, I was still hungry. And across the water, I smelled something new. Something I had to have, so I swam towards it. I slithered onto the sand, and the good smell went into an old pipe. I got closer and closer.
You? It is you. Go up in our own bed.
All of my stomach started growling. And suddenly, I was me again. I held my breath for a long time, but I couldn't hear anything. I think it's waiting for me to fall asleep. But it's not going to wait much longer. It needs to feed, and we both know I will be delicious.
What the fuck?
I'm not sure if I believed all of that, but I'm sure Edie would have.
What the fuck? Kitty? Very
I got the sense Edie had spent a lot of time here before my mom sealed the doors.
Where's that kitty? Where is that kitty?
This will be obvious later, but my mom never told me any of these stories. Edie would have, but Mom didn't like bringing up the past. Though, when we adopted a stray kitten, she was the one who named it Molly. I spent a lot of time in Great-Grandma Edie's room. We got along, and it was a good place to hide from my mom. Louis died a week before we left, but Edie had already started to memorialize him. Her room was like a museum. Even in her 90s, sometimes Edie seemed a lot younger than my mother.
Oh my god.
The only trace Grandpa Sam's first wife, Kay, left on the house was the pink bathroom. It was a pretty big trace.
Yeah, I'll say. Baby Bubble Bonanza. There's another thing for you. Or for me. No, we're kidding.
When Edie told people Sven was killed by a dragon, she could also have said he was building a dragon-shaped slide that collapsed. She could have, but she didn't. One summer, they evacuated the island, but Edie refused to go. For a few weeks, she was a celebrity. I hadn't thought of myself as Edith Jr. for a long, long time. Edie gave a big interview about a mole man living under the Finch house. My mom was furious. For 500 years, the Finches have been famous throughout Norway for their fortune and misfortune. Odin Finch buries the latest victims of the family curse, his wife Ingeborg and their newborn son, Johan.
Well, that sucks.
On January 7th, 1937, he set sail with his family and his house, hoping to leave the curse behind. But 40-foot waves off the coast of Washington send the house and Odin to the bottom of the sea. Odin's daughter Edie, with husband Sven and baby Molly, step ashore on their new home, Orcas Island. Odin Finch is the first to be buried in the new family cemetery. His daughter Edie is already dreaming of a new Finch house. Whatever's wrong with this family, it goes back a long ways.
there now?
There's a secret in this bathroom. It's in the last place you would look. It isn't in the cupboard. It's hidden in this book.
That's kind of neat. Little dark room.
Sven gave Sam an old camera he'd refurbished. He never put it down.
Guessing that's Sam. Looks like Sam. Okay. Captures land, native heaven. Really work on Rail Lake. Nice space toys, dude. Nice. You Calvin might have got along if he was alive and real. Smoking Joe's. Look. I'm taking a lot of screenshots. That's not annoying. Rikers Island Regional High School Cobra Battalion Bravo Company. Okay. To command
I knew
center.
Grandpa Sam had a twin. And that he never talked about him.
Wait. Go upstairs first.
I guess my grandpa didn't like history any more than my mom did.
How I Want to Remember My Brother by Sam Finch. The thing I remember is that when he made up his mind, that was it. My brother said he'd die before he ate another mushroom. And he did. At Barbara's funeral, we swore we'd never be afraid again. And he wasn't. I think Calvin always wanted to fly.
Sam! Calvin! Dinner's ready!
Coming!
But that day, he finally made up his mind to do it. I told him going around was impossible. Maybe if I hadn't said that,
Calvin! I'm not gonna tell you again!
maybe if the wind hadn't picked up, then maybe he'd still be here. But I doubt it.
Man, I wanted to do this.
I think he'd already made up his mind. That's what I want to remember about my brother. The day he made up his mind to fly. And he did.
Calvin's story felt strangely familiar. When I was younger, I remember trying to do the exact same thing. After the funeral, Edie roped off Calvin's half of the room.
Oh, I see what they meant, because he's got to stay.
Mom said Grandpa Sam enlisted at 18 and never set foot in the room again.
Yeah, he had to live in this room for like 7 years when his brother was already dead. Got it.
The passages were a pretty tight fit. They'd obviously been built for smaller hands and bellies.
Growing up, I always thought of Barbara as a child star.
I was just supposed to scan back in. Okay. My friend Bigfoot. Okay.
I never thought about how hard it must have been for her afterwards. Of all the stories people wrote about Barbara's death, I'm surprised Edie saved this one.
Old Jack here with another ghastly tale inspired by America's most unfortunate family. I'm calling it The Surprise Ending of Barbara Finch. As a child star, Barbara was famous for her scream. Now at 16, she was all washed up, a has-been. But in a lucky break, she'd been asked to perform her signature scream at a local convention for monster movie fans. It was just the boost her career needed. Unfortunately, her scream hadn't aged well.
Getting better. I think you just need the right motivation.
Her biggest fan and current boyfriend, Rick, was about to demonstrate when...
Now that was a great scream.
It was Barbara's father, Sven. He'd slipped into a table saw and had to be rushed to the emergency room. So Barbara got stuck babysitting her youngest brother, Walter. Her convention comeback was cancelled.
Okay, I'm hearing frustration, but I'm not hearing terror. What if I tried...
A gang of hoodlums in Halloween masks have been terrorizing Orcas Island tonight. Police are urging residents to...
That came from the basement.
You're right! Also, I loved your delivery on that. Why is your basement door locked?
We
Because my dad likes making puzzles and secret passages. There's a key hidden in the music box. The secret is to keep winding and winding until finally the key pops out.
Thanks, babe. I'll be back in a sec.
20 minutes later, Rick hadn't returned. So Barbara went to look for him, right on cue. She reached for the music box. And as she wound the key, she listened for Rick, but the house was silent.
I should have to reopen that door. Oh, Halloween. Okay, nice. That's a good reference.
She found Rick's crutch and imagined the worst.
I also love the Tales from the Crypt style here. Oh, there's an achievement. Clear the table. Clear all balls off the table. Nice. Man. This is great.
The gang's leader is the infamous Hookman Killer, Dr. Carl Hamill, who impaled and then ate his family 10 years ago tonight.
Goldfinch rattled and grew still.
Oh dear!
Oh.
Rick?
Barb, relax. I was just trying to scare you to help you find your scream.
Well, I'm not scared, Rick. I'm furious.
Then act furious. All I'm getting from you now is that you're hurt and confused and
She threw him out, but she kept a little something to remember him by.
Barb, have you seen my other crutch?
And she was still holding it when she fell asleep watching the late picture show. Hours later...
Barbara! Walter, what's going on up there? Ah! Okay, I'm coming up, but if this is a trick, you're dead, Walter.
Oh, it's an egg chair. Okay. Heh.
Rocca's Island police describe the man as 6 feet tall, with a steel hook for a hand. Residents are urged to lock all doors and windows and notify the police of any suspicious activity.
Barbara turned, saw the hook man, and was speechless. He was quite smashing. He couldn't get enough of Barbara.
Okay, Barbara, there's gotta be another way out of here.
That night, she played her part beautifully. Ollie's door hadn't been opened in years. The hinges groaned. He wasn't moving, but she sensed the story might not be over yet. Vanished. She listened for his breathing, but all she heard was... Someone at the door was dying to speak to young Barbara. She heard whispering. It was coming from inside the house.
Oh dear.
The monsters had come to surprise her. For Barbara, it was a dream come true. Then she saw what kind of monsters they were, and she realized what was about to happen. She was going to be famous. And with her final breath, Barbara Finch gave the performance of her life. I wasn't there myself, but I hear Barbara was magnificent. Poor girl. She had a taste for stardom. But unfortunately, so did her fans. Of course, the police blamed it all on poor Rick, who disappeared the same night. And little Walter, hiding under his bed the whole time. He took it all pretty hard, but that's another story. As for Barbara, tucked inside the music box is all they ever found of her. Her ear. Now that's what I call a real eerie tale.
Edie told me all Barbara wanted was to be remembered, as absurd as that comic was. Maybe what Edie saw was a happy ending.
That was amazing. Thank you. We're pretty close to our stopping spot, so if we haven't already covered it. So let's go ahead and end this episode now. I will see you guys next time here on Somarinoa Plays. Take care.